The storm had passed, but his ghost lingered. Hurricane Ida tore through New Orleans like a living monster, and when it was done, all that was left behind was silence, rot, and water. Malik hadn't returned to his grandmother's house since the evacuation. The storm surge had overwhelmed the levees, and her neighborhood had turned into a drowned skeleton. But now, weeks later, the roads had reopened, and Malik came back to help clean what was left. The sky was gray, humid, the kind of thick air that clung to your lungs. His grandmother, who had passed 3 years ago, had always told him, "This house got memories, and some don't forget." He parked outside. The porch was sagging, the front door slightly ajar. Inside, mold clung to the walls like a second skin. The floorboards groaned under every step. The stench of salt water and mildew soaked the air. The basement door stood half open. He hadn't been down there in years. No one had. He grabbed a flashlight and headed down the creaking steps. As his boots touched the bottom, water rose to his calves. It was cold, still. Then came the sound. Splash. Not his own. He swung the light around. Hello. Silence. Splash. And then he saw him. A man, standing in the corner of the basement, half submerged. Still. Watching. He wore a dry suit, black, tight, old-fashioned like the kind deep-sea divers wore in the 1930s. But his face was dry, too dry, like it didn't belong in this place. Malik's throat tightened. "Sir, you can't be here. This is private property." No response. No blink. Just that stare. Then the man spoke, voice low and chilling. "You came back too early." Malik didn't wait. He turned and bolted up the stairs, splashing and stumbling. His heartbeat pounded in his ears. He kicked the basement door shut and backed into the kitchen, panting. He called the police. They arrived within 15 minutes. 2 officers, tired, skeptical, soaked in sweat. "There's a man in the basement," Malik told them, wearing a suit, just standing there. The officers looked at each other. One of them muttered, "It's not the first time someone's seen something since the storm." They headed down with their flashlights. Malik stayed at the top, every instinct screaming for him to leave. A minute passed. Then another. Then the officers came back up. "There's no one there," one of them said. "Basement's flooded, about 3 feet deep. No signs of forced entry. No footprints. And it's pitch black." "You sure you saw someone?" "I'm not crazy," Malik snapped. "He was real. He spoke to me." They didn't argue, just wrote a report and left. Malik, against his better judgment, stayed. That night, he dreamed of water dripping from the ceiling. He dreamed of hands pressed against glass, pale and bloated. He dreamed of voices whispering through the floorboards. In the morning, he went to check the basement again. The water level hadn't dropped, but something new caught his eye. A handprint, on the ceiling above the basement steps. It was upside down. The next few days were a blur. Malik couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. Every time he walked through the house, he felt like he was being watched. He tried to find answers, talk to neighbors, old ones, survivors who remembered things no one else did. An elderly woman named Miss Lucille lived 3 doors down. She'd grown up in the area. She looked Malik in the eyes and said, "That house wasn't always your grandmother's." "What do you mean?" he asked. "Back in 1927, a diver drowned in that basement," she whispered. "The Mississippi flooded so bad that year, it swallowed everything. They sent in men in suits to find the drowned. One went down into your house's basement when it was still connected to the water lines. He never came out. They sealed the pipes, drained the area, but never found him." Malik's skin crawled. "People say," she continued, "his spirit's tied to floodwater. Every time a big storm comes, he returns. Searching for what?" Miss Lucille's eyes went glassy. "For someone to take his place."
Malik had to know. He couldn't leave it alone. He returned to the basement one final time. He brought rope, a harness, 2 lights, and a waterproof camera strapped to his chest. If he was going under, someone had to see what he saw. He descended slowly, the water now almost up to his waist. The stench was stronger, something old and wet and buried. He called out, "I know who you are. I know what happened to you." No answer, just the hum of silence. Then ripple, splash. He turned. The man was there again, only now closer. The same dry suit, same lifeless stare. "You came back too early," the man said again. But this time his voice echoed as if spoken underwater. Malik took a step back. "What do you want?" The man tilted his head. Water rose around him like it had a mind of its own. Malik tried to move. His legs wouldn't obey. The water felt heavy, thick, pulling him down. "Storms open doors," the man whispered, "but someone must stay behind to keep them closed." Malik screamed as he sank. The camera blinked once, twice, then static. When search teams came a week later, they found no body. The basement had drained, revealing dry concrete and rusted pipes. But on the ceiling, above the stairs, another handprint had appeared, upside down. And this time, it was still wet. Legend says that every time the levees break, the man in the dry suit rises again, and someone new is chosen to take his place. Some houses don't forget, some storms never really leave, and some basements are deeper than they seem.